everyone had a wonderful midterm exam. We are now in the second part of this semester, and it's time to look at our book again. We are going to skip Unit 5 and skip Unit 6. We are not going to study these two units. Let's take a look at Unit 7. Alright, so this is all about sports and competition. I'm guessing not a lot of us are doing this sport. I don't even know what this sport is called. Extreme mountain biking maybe, or maybe BMX. I think it might be called BMX. I don't know what BMX means. Anyway, we are not going to talk about this sport. Instead, we're going to look at another sport which I also think a lot of us don't do. You can look at the pictures here, and in the first picture you can see some horses, and it looks like it's not being held in Korea. It's in a different country. Well, we're going to watch that video today and we'll find out what country it is and exactly what is happening here. But before we do, let's look at some new vocabulary. So here we have jockey, town square, banner, and racetrack. And all you have to do is match 1, 2, 3, 4 with A, B, C, D. Alright, I'll just give you a few seconds. Try to match 1, 2, 3, 4, A, B, C, D. Alright, so did you get them correct? Number 1, the jockey. This might be a new word for some of you. And the answer is A. So number 1, A. This guy right here, he's called the jockey. So if you are a professional horse racer, you are called a jockey. Alright, number 2, the town square. That is here, D. This here, if I draw a picture here, this is the square. It looks like a diamond here, but anyway, if you turn it, it's a square, right? So a lot of old European towns have this square. I think this doesn't really exist in Korea. The old Korean towns or cities have gates, I think. In Korea, the Dongdaemun or Namdaemun gate is very famous. But in a lot of European cities, the town square is famous. In America, there's a famous square in New York. You know which square I'm talking about? Times Square. But if you look, the Times Square is actually quite small, because nowadays, cities, we don't need these big squares. A long time ago, a lot of events and different things would happen in the town square. Alright, so that's the square. Number 3, the banner is B. This fabric thing is called the banner, and you probably hear a lot of you probably hear the word banner a lot on the internet because we have advertising banners, horizontal or vertical banners advertising different things. Alright, number 4 of course is C, the racetrack. So here's the racetrack as these horses are racing around and jockeys are racing around this racetrack. Alright, so I think, well, maybe some of these might be new. For example, jockey might be a new word, maybe town square, who knows, maybe even banner and racetrack. So try to remember those for your upcoming quiz. Alright, 1 to 7, we have some more vocabulary. So I'm going to give you a little bit more time this time. Let's, not too long, just 1:45. Try to match the words with the definition. Alright, here we go. that might have actually been too much time. Seemed kind of long. Let's take a look at the answers. So I like to go backwards. I think it's easier to match. So A, nervous or unhappy because of problems that may happen in the future. This is worried. Sad because something was not as good as you wanted or did not happen. Disappointed. Happy because something good is going to happen. Excited. The place or area around your home. Neighborhood. Go down to the ground suddenly by accident. That's a long definition for fall. I think everyone knows this one. Fall. A complete journey around the track or a race is a lap. And possibly bad or hurtful is dangerous. All right. Now, a couple things. Obviously, some words have more than one meaning. Sometimes lap, you've probably heard of a laptop computer. Why is it called a laptop computer? That's because you put the computer on your lap. If you're sitting down, then your legs, your thighs, become your lap. For example, during Christmas time, children sit on Santa's lap. Or if you're riding the subway, you might put your backpack on your lap. But in this case, lap has a different meaning. It means to go around the track. So if you go once around, you've done one lap. If you're jogging around the park, you could do, 1 or 2 or 3 laps around the park is how many times you're going around. So, and of course in races, like horse races, car races, whatever, we talk about how many laps the race is. All right, neighborhood, you'll see a U here. That, of course, is British spelling. American spelling, there is no U. Again, just like color, American spelling has no U, but the British spelling has U. And one other very interesting thing to note is that in Korea, a lot of people make a mistake between neighbor and neighborhood. These are 2 different words. And a lot of people, if I ask, for example, if I ask you, do you like your neighborhood? A lot of people will say, I don't know my neighborhood. I'm guessing some of you might be thinking the same thing right now. If I ask you, do you like your neighborhood? Maybe some of you are thinking, I don't know my neighborhood. Or tell me about your neighborhood. I haven't met my neighborhood. But this is a mistake, because if I type neighborhood, let's take a look at the picture that we get. All right, you can see here's a neighborhood, here's a neighborhood, here's a neighborhood. These people are walking through a neighborhood. Here's a nice looking, look at this beautiful neighborhood. All these nice looking neighborhoods. So what's the neighborhood? This is the town that you live in. It's not the person that lives next to you. This whole place here is the neighborhood. So your neighborhood maybe is Bupyeong or Hagikdong or Songdo. Okay, so the town that you live in is your neighborhood. Now if I take out the hood, now we can see the people. So this is my neighbor, the person who lives next to me. So don't get confused between neighbor and neighborhood. Neighbor is a person who lives next to you or near you, and neighborhood is the place that you live in. And it's easy to remember because neighbor is inside neighborhood, right? So there are many neighbors inside the town. There are many people living inside the town. So if you ever get confused, the town is bigger, this person is smaller. So the bigger word, neighborhood, is the place. The smaller word, neighbor, is the person. Okay? Everyone gets that wrong. In all of my classes over many years, everyone gets that wrong. I'm not sure why. People think neighbor and neighborhood have the same meaning. They have a different meaning. So, and it can be funny because if I ask you, where do you live? Oh, I live in Songdo. Do you like your neighborhood? I don't know my neighborhood. Well, you just told me your neighborhood is Songdo, so this could be, it's a small mistake, but it could be a very confusing mistake. So try not to mix up neighbor and neighborhood. All right, let's move on to the next page, and you have to use those same words and fill in the blanks. All right, let me give you some more time again. All right, I think 145 was too long, so let's just do 130. All right, here we go. Please fill in these blanks. Alright, so did you finish the task? If not, of course you can pause the video and keep working, but I'll tell you the answers now. Before I go to the dentist, I always feel very excited. Did you get excited? No, because that's the wrong answer. It's worried. Before I go to the dentist, I always feel very worried. Worried about cavities, I guess. Alright, I am disappointed if I don't pass an exam or test. Oh, this is a long word. Very difficult to write with the mouse. Disappointed. Alright. The blank where I live is very friendly. We just talked about it. Neighborhood. Another long word. It's getting messy. Neighbor. I'm going to spell it the American spelling. Know you. Neighborhood. That's an H. Alright, skydiving is oh sorry, I missed this one because I was half covered up. The day before my birthday, I always feel very excited. Birthday cake. Maybe some presents if you're lucky. Skydiving is a dangerous hobby. Dangerous. All of these words are too long. When the runner ran the last lap. Aha, a short word. Great. The last lap of the race, the crowd shouted loudly. Horses can fall. Good, another short word. Horses can fall on the racetrack if the ground is wet. Yeah. Alright, so that's the vocabulary, and now it's time to take a look at the video. Actually, once again, just before we watch the video, I like to do something. I think we did this in a previous video. I like to try to guess what the answers might be. And your task is to watch the first 2 minutes of the video and tick the things that you see. But before we do it, let's just take a guess. So do you think that you will see horses in this video? Well, here are screenshots from the video. I see some horses, so I think it would be a great guess to tick that. I think it's a safe guess that horses will be there. What about dogs? Do you think there will be dogs in the video? Well, I'm not sure. It could be. I'll let you guess. Guitars. Are there any guitars? I'll look at the picture here. Is that a guitar? No, that's just his vest. Anyway, Take a guess. Do you think there are any guitars? Yes or no? Drums? Yes or no? Banners? Well, we talked about banners, so probably. People running? Maybe. People singing? A town square? A town car park? Car park, I'll tell you right now, equals parking lot. So British is car park, and American is parking lot. So for example, you go to Home Plus and go to the parking lot, but British people say go to the car park. All right, racetrack, probably a good guess if there's a racetrack during a horse race, and a football pitch. One other thing we have to talk about here. Football in British English, changed to American English, what is it? You guys know this. Soccer. Pitch. What do you think that means? The football pitch. If I say, let's meet on the football pitch, everybody, we're going to meet in the center of the football pitch. So the football pitch is the soccer, have you guessed it yet? Field, the soccer field. So another word for pitch is, for example, baseball, to pitch the ball. But in this case, pitch means the field. All right, so you've made your guesses. I'm not going to play the first 2 minutes. I'll play the whole thing. So try to tick what you see, but also let's try to answer these questions. What is the Palio di Siena? How many laps is it? How many jockeys ride? Why is Alberto happy to ride for Lupa? And what happens to Alberto? Also, I'm going to ask you some bonus questions. Alright, I think there's like maybe 6 or 7 bonus questions after this. So what I want you to do, of course, is take notes and then try to answer these questions. Alright, here we go. Do you have your notebook and pencil and pen ready? If not, go get it, come back, and let's watch the video. Here we go.
Siena is in Tuscany, in the northwest of Italy. The city is well known for its beautiful old buildings and its main square. It is also famous for the Palio di Siena, the most famous horse race in Italy, which takes place on the 2nd of July and the 16th of August each year. Alberto is an Italian jockey. He practices all year for the race. The race is only 3 laps and takes 90 seconds. Only 10 jockeys are allowed to ride in the race. Each year, 50 jockeys from all over Italy try to be one of the 10. Each jockey races for a different neighborhood in the city. The winning neighborhood receives the Palio, a banner which the race is named after. One horse is chosen for each neighborhood using a lottery. It is only after the lottery that the neighborhoods will decide which jockey they will use in the race. Will Alberto ride in the race? Alberto gets a phone call. The small neighborhood of Lupa want him to ride for them. Alberto is very happy because Lupa is where he was born. The day of the race has come. Everyone is going to the main square. Many of them wear the colors of their neighborhood. 60,000 people fill the square. The jockeys enter the square. Alberto's horse is called Zodiac. Alberto has won the race before. Can he win it now for his neighborhood? The Palio is a very dangerous race. The crowd is excited, but also worried. On the second lap, a jockey falls in front of Alberto's horse. There is nothing he can do. He falls too. The race is won by the Bruco neighborhood. Winning the Palio is everything. Alberto wasn't hurt in the fall. Zodiac is also okay. Everyone in his neighborhood is very sad that they didn't win. But tomorrow, the people of Siena will start making plans for the next Palio.
All right. So, let's take a look at number 7. First of all, did you see horses? Yes. Dogs? No. Guitars? No. Drums? Yes. Banners? Yes. People running? Yes. People singing? No. Town square? Yes. Town car park? No. Racetrack? Of course. And a football pitch? No. Alright, most of these actually you saw in just the first few seconds of the video, so I'll play that again just so you can see. Oops. Here we have the horses, here we have the drums, here we have the banner, and here we have people running. Alright, so just in the first 13 seconds you have all of these. And then of course we've got the town square. We already could guess that, and the racetrack we could guess that, but none of the other ones. Alright. What is the Palio di Siena? It is the most famous horse race in Italy. Or if you want, you could just say it's a horse race. Alright, sorry for this poor writing. When we use Zoom I can type, but when I just use this unlock program, there's no typing. It's terrible. Alright, how many laps is it? 3 laps. Very short race. How many jockeys ride? 10. Why is Alberto happy to ride for Lupa? This is a bit tricky. A lot of people miss this one. But Lupa is his hometown. So any town can pick any jockey, but his hometown picked him. So he's happy. Yeah, if you're born in Incheon and then Incheon picks you to represent Incheon, you're going to feel happy and proud. So he's happy to ride for his hometown of Lupa. But what happens to Alberto? I wish it was a happy ending, but it's not. He falls. The horse in front of him falls, and so Alberto falls too. For a sad story. It's kind of a sad ending. Alright guys, so I said that there's going to be some bonus questions, so let's take a look. Now, if you want, you can go back and watch the video again if you missed any of those. But first, I'm going to show you the bonus questions. Alright, so what country are we seeing? I mentioned it already. Did you get it? Italy. What is Alberto's job? We learned this word. The person who rides the horse professionally. Jockey. How many seconds is the race? We know that it's 3 laps, but the race only takes 90 seconds. Wow, amazing. Short race. How many jockeys try to ride in the race? So we know that 10 people are selected, but how many people try to get selected? 50. The palio is A, a horse, B, a banner, or C, a town. It's a banner. The Palio di Siena, the Palio of Siena. Siena is the town. Lupa is a horse, a banner, or a town. It's a town. Remember that it is Alberto's hometown, so he is happy to race for Lupa. Where is the race held? It's held in the main square or the town square. All right. Next one. True or false? Alberto has won the race before. True. And last question. True or false? Alberto's horse is named Jody. That is false. The name is Zodiac. All right. Now you might have noticed that the numbering is a little weird. 5, 7, 8 to 11, 14. That's because I deleted some of the questions that were already in your book, so we didn't need to repeat anyway, so you have fewer questions that were repeated already. Alright guys, so that is it for the video. There is some discussion here, so if you want you can call up your friend and do the discussion, but we of course won't do the discussion now. But there is one other little expression here. It asks, what do you think this underlined word means? The city is well known for its beautiful old buildings. It is also famous for the Palio di Siena horse race. So well known. Can you think of another word? Maybe starts with F. Famous. All right, so well known means famous. Everybody knows it, right? The discussion question is, are there any well-known places in your hometown or city? What are they? Interesting. So, Incheon? Are there any famous places in Incheon? Maybe Wolmido? I don't know. Jayu Park? Maybe Songdo. Songdo has become famous. A lot of people travel to the parks. There's a lot of nice parks here. Alright. Alright guys, let's move on to the next part. Okay, so let's move on to the next page. And you can see a very famous sport. I think you know the name of this sport. It's Taekwondo. And the first thing we have to do is put these words in these spaces. So I don't think I need to give you any time to do this. Let's do it right now. So A is pointing at the gloves. You know what? I'm just going to do this. Alright, B is pointing at the helmet. C is pointing at the vest. And D is the competitor. So this person is a competitor. Alright, there are 5 more words here: referee, score, competitive, kick, and hit. And you have to match to the definition here. So I'll give you just a few seconds to try to match 1, 2, 3, ABC. Okay, ready? Go. Alright guys, let's take a look at the answer. So A is use your foot quickly and hard to move something. So that is kick. Alright, let's put a number 4 here. Alright, B, use your hand quickly and hard to move something. That is hit. Alright, a person who controls a match, checks the rules, and counts the points is the referee. describes an event where someone tries to win. That's competitive. So the competitor, competitive, adjective, competitive. Alright, and the last one, the number of points each person or team has in a game or match is the score, of course. Alright, now personally I don't think B is a very good definition of hit. Hit says use your hand quickly, but I think you can hit something with anything. You can hit someone with a baseball. You can hit someone with your elbow. You can hit someone with a car, a car crash. The truck hit the car. So I think using your hand might be punch or slap, or maybe there's some other words that you can use too, but really hit is any kind of contact. So personally I think this is a bit of a poor definition, but anyway, I think all of us know what hit means and kick, and so these words are not too difficult. But maybe referee might be new, or competitive, and the difference between competitive as an adjective to say this is a competitive sport, and competitor as the person. Compete, of course, is the verb, and competition is the noun. Alright, so let's move on to the next page. And there's some listening here, but before the listening, we have something here that says understanding bias. And I think this is a great word for university students to know, because bias is everywhere. Everyone has bias. And if we understand bias, then I think we can understand things better. We can understand what is really true. So it says here that before we're listening, you should think about who is talking and why. Sometimes people are biased. They will have a special reason to agree or disagree with something. For example, a jockey will say horse racing is the most interesting sport, but a footballer will choose football. So if you think about a person, this can give you information about what they might think before they speak. You can then listen for words that help you to understand their opinions. Alright, so when we're listening, we can think about who's talking and what their bias might be. That's going to help us to understand them better. But I want to give you another example of bias. This is something that I found many years ago. Maybe you remember that Apple and Samsung, they are rivals, but a long time ago there was a court case between Apple and Samsung. And these are 3 headlines from 3 newspapers, BBC, Chosun Ilbo, or CNN, and CNN. And you have to try to match which one do you think comes from CNN, which one from Chosun, and which one from BBC. Now remember that CNN is American, Chosun is Korean, and BBC is British. Apple is American, Samsung is Korean. So there's probably going to be some bias when the American newspaper or news source is printing something, or when the Korean news source is printing something. So let's look at the first one. Apple won a significant victory on Tuesday in its campaign against Samsung Electronics over alleged intellectual property infringements. Who wrote that? Who do you think wrote that? Was that BBC, Chosun, or CNN? The answer is CNN. If you got it right, congratulations. Yeah, I can feel some bias here. Apple won a significant victory. Victory is very positive for Apple. Apple is American, CNN is American, so they're going to use very positive words in their headline. Alright, next one. Samsung Electronics now faces a major setback to its sales of its latest Galaxy Tab 10.1 in Europe due to a legal ruling barring the product in the region. Who do you think wrote that? The answer is Chosun Ilbo. Yeah, we can hear some negative words in here, right? Samsung Electronics faces a major setback. Terrible. This is terrible for Samsung. So Chosun Ilbo is using words that make us feel bad, whereas the CNN words make us feel happy, or They at least have a positive feeling. Significant victory. Woohoo! So maybe some bias here. Bias on both sides. CNN is showing a very positive view, and Chosun is showing a very negative view. So the last one we know is BBC. And let's read the headline. Apple is suing its rival Samsung Electronics for allegedly copying the design of its iPad and iPhone. This one, I think, sounds the most neutral. There really aren't any really positive or really negative words in here. It's suing the rival Samsung. Okay, maybe you could say Apple is first, so maybe there's some bias. Maybe BBC is British and American is they're both Western countries, English-speaking countries, so there could be a bit of bias. Why didn't they say Samsung is being sued? But that's a passive sentence, so usually active sentences are more common. So BBC has the most neutral headline here. Again, I did not change this at all, and it's just to show you that bias is everywhere. And when you're reading the news, you think that the news is telling you the truth, and it is. All of these are true, but CNN's and Chosun's both have some feeling. CNN's has a positive feeling, Chosun has a negative feeling, and I think that bias puts that feeling in there. So as you read it, you might be happy or you might be angry, but BBC's is the most neutral. So that's an example of bias in the real world. All right, let's go back to our book. And number 5 is, it says match the person to the statements. All right, let's try this one together. So someone who does Taekwondo and loves it. A, B, or C. Obviously, Taekwondo is boring. Taekwondo is probably boring. Actually, Taekwondo isn't boring at all. Someone who does Taekwondo and loves it, what would they say? I don't think a person who loves Taekwondo would say it's boring. They wouldn't say it's probably boring. They would say Taekwondo isn't boring. Yeah, they love it. They're biased because they love it, so they're going to say it's not boring. Number 2, someone who hates Taekwondo. What are they going to say? They're going to say, obviously it's boring. They're biased too. They hate it, so they're going to say it's boring. And someone who is not sure about Taekwondo? Well, Taekwondo is probably boring. Or they really should just say, I don't know, right? I'm not sure. But anyway, among these options, the person who loves it will say it isn't boring. The person who hates it will say it is obviously boring. And the person who is not sure will say probably or maybe. All right. So I'm going to do this one for you. I'm going to match the names to the job. So this person, Nam Gi-gam, is number 2, the international Taekwondo champion. And Reina is the referee. And Sunan Watana is the managing director. All right. We were supposed to listen, but I'm going to just do it for you. All right. So we know that Nam Gi-gam is the Taekwondo competitor, Reina is the referee, and Sunan is a managing director of a sports company, basically CEO of a new product. All right. Let's go to the next page, and your task is to write N next to the sentences that Nam Gi-gam says, the Taekwondo competitor, R next to the sentences that Reina says, the referee, and S next to the sentences that Sunan says, the CEO. All right. So let's listen. Here we go. And again, write N, R, or S. Who said these things? Here we go.
Unit 7. 7.1.
So this is our panel. In summary, Nam Ki-gan,
former Taekwondo international champion, Reina Akintola, head of the Referees Association, and Sunan Watana, Managing Director of Sports Technology Limited. I am moderating, so I will be asking for questions. And our first question is about scoring.
Yes, can I ask what you think about the new scoring system for this competition? Is it a good idea or not?
Are you talking about the sensor vest?
Yes.
Okay. For those of you who don't know about this, for the first time, the vest will be used to help with scores in the competition. I've brought one here to show you. Have a look. It's going to change the way we check the scoring. As you probably know, in Taekwondo, competitors can win points by kicking or hitting the other person. The new vest has sensors in it, little computer chips that know if there is a hit or kick. Here you can see one. The sensors can tell if there is a strong kick or hit and count the points. So let's start with Sunan Watana, Managing Director of Sports Technology Limited. Sunan.
Yes, of course the new system is a good idea. Obviously, scoring was causing a lot of problems before.
What do you mean?
Well, in many of the most important competitions in recent years, the scores have caused arguments because the referees have made mistakes.
Reina, what do you think about that? Has the scoring caused problems before?
Actually, the scoring has worked well compared to other sports. I don't agree. We haven't tested the new system yet, so we don't know if it will work. It also doesn't work if there is a kick to the head, so it definitely isn't needed. There haven't been that many problems at all.
Really?
No, of course not.
Nam, what's your view?
Well, it probably won't cause any problems if we have a new system. We can use both things, the referee and the vest. In the past, there have been times when the referee hasn't seen all the hits. And also, competitors have tried to confuse them by using shouts and noises too. So, computer sensors in vests will help in these situations.
I see.
Yes, I think on balance, a vest with a computer sensor is a good idea. But it shouldn't replace the referee yet. Like Reina says, the vest hasn't been tested enough. We can't rely on it completely.
Okay, did you get the right answers? So, who said obviously the scoring was causing a lot of problems? That's Sunan. And actually and in recent years the scores have caused arguments. That's also Sunan. Now remember, Sunan is the CEO of a new vest. So if he says that there are a lot of problems with the scoring, he can sell his vest. So he's biased to say that there are problems in the Taekwondo scoring. Now, who says actually the scoring has worked well? That's Reina. And what's Reina's job? The referee. So if she says there's problems with the scoring, maybe she might be out of a job. So she's going to say there are no problems with the scoring. Also, she says that the vest doesn't work if there's a kick to the head. That's also Reina. So again, maybe she's protecting her job. And finally, the competitor, he's the most neutral, right? He doesn't really care if they use this vest or not. So, well, it probably won't cause any problems if we have a new system. That's Nam, and he's the competitor. And in the past, there have been times when the referee hasn't seen all the hits. Yeah, that's Nam as well. So he's really neutral. He doesn't care if they use it or not. And finally, he says maybe it's okay to use both of these things. Alright guys, I think we're going to end there. If you want, you can do some of this discussion here, but in the next video, we're going to look at present perfect, or maybe not next video, but in our Zoom class, or maybe both. Alright guys, that's it for today. See you guys next time. Bye bye.